Is it possible for an elder millennial to attempt ambient shoegaze post-rock without embarrassing themselves? That's what we're here to find out. From Tone Charm Audio in Poland, it's time to head into the waves. Just the Jazzmaster by itself there. I wanted to show what you can do in one shot with this one pedal. So what is this thing even doing? Well, let's start with that bright yet open and subtle overdrive. And then we'll balance that out with a murky, lo-fi PT2399 bass delay. So we've got dirt, we've got delay, but don't think of this as a combo pedal, because the real novelty comes from just how those effects mesh together and interact. Like this dirt switch right here, which lets us keep the distortion up front or moved into the regeneration loop of the delay. Flipping that switch is kind of like putting a dirt pedal in the effects loop of a delay like the DoD Rubberneck, though it's nice to see it built right into the pedal here. Now, in that opening demo, you probably noticed some pitch bending or possibly vibrato going on in the background. This pedal has modulation, but with no LFO. It's not a chorus or a vibrato, at least not in the traditional sense. Instead, the delay time gets shifted in reaction to our playing dynamics. So as I brought in and brought up the depth knob, that's how far the modulation effect will go. And we can set just how easily that effect gets triggered with this three-way sensitivity switch right over here. And if I set it to low sensitivity, it won't react quite as much to our playing, but that's when we get to use this button to manually engage the effect. When we're using this switch, the dive knob adjusts just how quickly the modulation will pull one way and then return the other. But before we go much further, we really need to take a peek inside the pedal, because back here we see two dip switches, one to further set the darkness or brightness of the repeats, one to further adjust the sensitivity of the modulation effect, and this trim pot right here, which sets the intensity of the feedback when we hold down this self-oscillation foot switch. And while we're in here, check this out. We can actually see this LED reacting to our playing. The light that LED is emitting is getting picked up by that photocell, which then goes on to push and pull the delay, giving us that haunting background vibrato effect. And when we engage that momentary foot switch, we can see it lighting up the same way. It all makes perfect sense, but it's also pretty darn clever. Now, it's not lost on me just how fortunate I am that I have this channel. I get to play with all this gear and interact with an audience and work with brands and builders and other personalities that I've watched over the years. It's something that, well, quite frankly, I really needed as a creative outlet. But I've also seen plenty of talented people get burned out and call it quits when they were at the top of their game. And I want to try to avoid that myself. So I'm always trying to focus on the pedals and the gear that actually excite and inspire me. Stuff that I just can't help but record and want to share with everyone else who's into pedals. The flip side of that is that I've scrapped more videos than I've finished. And that's because I want to make sure that when I get to this part of the production process, that I'm not just going through the motions. I think that's only fair to you, but it's ultimately what keeps me going. This pedal is exactly the kind of pedal that I love to see. It's really at its core two effects, but they're thoughtfully brought together between these 8 knobs, 3 toggles, 3 switches, plus all the stuff on the inside to create this big reactive space that you just want to throw riffs into. As much as I've been absolutely enjoying the heck out of this pedal, I know that it's not for everyone, and it's not going to find a home on my alt-rock cover band pedal board either, but it's also not going back into its box anytime soon. In fact, it's probably going to live right here on the top of my amp for quite a while. Thanks for sticking with me. I got something very different planned for the next one, so keep it loose, keep it fun. I'll catch you on the next one.